Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind howling in your ears, your heart pounding as you peer into the abyss below. You want to step forward, to chase the dream that's been burning inside you for years, but your feet won't move. Something invisible, heavy, holds you back, a force you can't name but feel in your bones. Why do you hesitate? Why, when the path to everything you've ever wanted lies just beyond that leap, do you find yourself sabotaging the very thing you crave? It's not laziness, not fear alone, but something deeper, something that whispers you're not enough, that you'll fail, that you don't deserve it. This is the paradox of self-sabotage. You are your own greatest ally and your own worst enemy. How can you be so desperate for success yet orchestrate your own defeat? Picture yourself in a quiet room, staring at a blank page, knowing the words you write could change your life. But instead, you scroll endlessly, avoiding the work. Or maybe you're in a meeting, with the perfect idea on the tip of your tongue, yet you stay silent, letting the moment slip away. These aren't random acts, they're patterns, woven into the fabric of your mind, pulling you back from the edge of transformation. What is this invisible chain? Why do you build walls around your own potential? The tension gnaws at you, a quiet ache that grows louder with every missed opportunity. Every time you choose comfort over courage. You've felt it before, haven't you? That fleeting moment when you realize you're standing in your own way but you don't know why. Is it fear of failure? Or something more sinister, like fear of success? What if the truth is that you're not just afraid of falling, but of flying? The great question looms. Why do you sabotage yourself when you know better? This isn't about weakness. It's about a hidden mechanism in your psyche, one that's been running the show without your permission. It's as if your mind is a house with locked rooms you've never dared to enter. Rooms where the answers to your self-destruction lie waiting. To unlock them, you must confront the uncomfortable truth. Your greatest battles are not with the world, but with yourself. What if the very thoughts you trust are betraying you? What if the stories you tell yourself about who you are lies? The weight of this realization presses down, urging you to look deeper, to question everything you thought you knew about your own motivations. The answers are closer than you think, but they demand courage to face. What lies on the other side of this paradox, this self-inflicted prison? Let's step into the shadows of your mind and find out. You've felt it. That invisible chain tightening just as you reach for something greater. A force that pulls you back into the familiar, the safe, the small. But why does it exist? Why do you, with all your dreams and potential, orchestrate your own downfall? The answer lies not in your actions, but in the hidden machinery of your mind. A machinery forged by psychology, evolution, and the stories you've been told since childhood. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, called it the death drive, an instinct not just to survive, but to return to a state of inertia, where risk and change can't touch you. You sabotage yourself not because you're broken, but because your mind craves the comfort of the known, even when it betrays your desires. Imagine your psyche as a labyrinth, where every corner holds a memory, a fear, a belief you didn't choose. As a child, you were taught to avoid failure at all costs. Parents, teachers, society drilled it into you. Don't mess up. That lesson became a scar. A voice whispering that it's safer to stay still than to leap and fall. Psychologists call this the self-handicapping bias. You create obstacles, procrastination, self-doubt, distraction, not to fail, but to protect yourself from the pain of true failure. If you never fully try, you can't be fully broken, or so your mind believes. But there's more. Carl Rogers, the humanist psychologist, argued that self-sabotage stems from a disconnect between your true self and the self you think you should be. You chase an ideal, perfect, successful, flawless, imposed by a world that measures worth in likes, titles, and wealth. When you fall short, you don't just fail. You feel unworthy of trying again. This isn't just personal, it's societal. Consumer culture thrives on your insecurity, selling you quick fixes while reinforcing the lie that you're not enough. Every ad, every comparison, feeds the cycle, making you doubt your worth, so you hesitate, you stall, you sabotage. The consequences are subtle but devastating. Missed opportunities, eroded confidence, a life half-lived. Your emotions become a battleground, hope warring with shame, ambition tangled with fear. Your identity shifts too. You start to see yourself as the person who can't, who won't, who never does. And yet the deeper truth is even more unsettling. What if this sabotage isn't just fear, but a distorted act of self-protection? What if your mind, in its primal wisdom, is trying to save you from a world that punishes authenticity? Friedrich Nietzsche warned that modern life alienates us from our instincts, trapping us in cycles of self-destruction. Your sabotage might be a rebellion, a refusal to play a game rigged against your soul. But at what cost? The tension mounts as you realize this hidden force isn't just holding you back. It's reshaping who you are. Every time you choose distraction over effort, you reinforce the lie that you're not capable. Every time you silence your voice, you let the world define you. The stakes are higher than you thought. This isn't just about missed goals, but about losing yourself. What happens when you let this cycle run unchecked? What does it cost you to stay chained to a version of yourself that isn't true? The answers lie in the shadows of your choices, and the deeper consequences are about to come into focus. You've seen the invisible chain, felt its weight as it pulls you back from your potential. But what happens when you let it tighten, day after day, year after year? The consequences of self-sabotage aren't just missed opportunities. They reshape your reality, your relationships, your very sense of self, in ways you barely notice until it's too late. Psychologically, this is the work of the confirmation bias. Every time you procrastinate, doubt yourself, or choose the easy path, you reinforce the story that you're not capable, and your brain starts to believe it. Neurologically, your prefrontal cortex, the seat of decision-making, gets hijacked by the amygdala's fear signals, wiring you to prioritize safety over growth. Picture yourself avoiding a crucial task, scrolling through your phone instead. Each moment you delay, your brain carves a deeper groove, making sabotage not just a choice, but a reflex. This isn't just personal, it's societal. You live in a culture that rewards instant gratification, training you to seek dopamine hits from likes, notifications, or fleeting comforts, all while your dreams gather dust. The cost is staggering. Your confidence erodes, your ambitions shrink, and your life becomes a shadow of what it could be. You start to avoid risks altogether, trapped in what psychologists call learned helplessness. Why try when you're convinced you'll fail? Your relationships suffer too. Friends and loved ones sense your withdrawal, your distraction, and slowly, you drift apart, isolated by your own hand. Culturally, you recondition to compare yourself to curated lives, social media feeds that scream success while you re-stuck in a cycle of self-defeat. Philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre called this bad faith, living a lie to avoid the pain of freedom. You tell yourself you're just not ready or not good enough. But what if these are excuses to avoid the terror of truly trying? The urgency is palpable. Every time you sabotage yourself, you're not just delaying success, you're rewriting your identity. Your brain's plasticity means these patterns become hardwired, making change feel impossible. Society amplifies this trap, profiting from your stagnation. Advertisers sell you distractions. Employers reward compliance over creativity. The paradox is cruel. You sabotage yourself to feel safe, but that safety is a cage, one that shrinks your world a little more each day. What happens when you let this cycle define you? Your dreams don't just fade, they become foreign, like relics of a person you no longer recognize. The stakes are higher than you thought. This isn't about one missed goal, but a life unlived. You feel the weight of it now, don't you? The quiet despair of knowing you're capable of more, yet choosing less. The trap is invisible, but its consequences are real. Stolen time, fractured relationships, a self you no longer trust. But what if there's a way out? What if the very force that chains you holds the key to your freedom? The realization is close, and it's about to change everything. The trap of self-sabotage has held you long enough, its chains tightening with every hesitation, every excuse. But what if the key to freedom lies not in fighting yourself, but in rewriting the story you've been told? The radical shift comes now. Self-sabotage isn't your enemy. It's a signal, a misdirected cry from your psyche begging for alignment. To break free, you must stop battling your fears and start listening to them, because they're trying to tell you something. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on mindset offers a counterintuitive truth. Your belief in a fixed self, someone doomed to fail, fuels your sabotage. Shift to a growth mindset, where every setback is a lesson, not a verdict. Imagine yourself at that cliff's edge again, the wind howling, your dream just beyond reach. But this time, you see your hesitation not as weakness, but as a question. What am I protecting? Instead of pushing through with force, pause. Ask yourself, what's the smallest step I can take right now? This isn't about grand gestures. It's about micro choices that rewire your brain. Neuroscience backs this. Small, consistent actions strengthen your prefrontal cortex, weakening the amygdala's grip. Take one task, write one sentence, speak one truth, and watch the chain loosen. Historical figures like Frida Kahlo broke free this way. She channeled her pain into art, refusing to let self-doubt silence her. Society tells you to just do it, but that's a trap. It ignores the deeper work. Carl Rogers' humanistic approach suggests you reclaim control by embracing your authentic self, not the perfect one society demands. Start journaling your fears, not to bury them, but to understand them. What story do they tell? Maybe you procrastinate because you fear judgment or success. Naming the fear strips its power. Counterintuitively, lean into discomfort. Set a timer for 5 minutes and face the task you've avoided. This rewires your brain's reward system, making action feel less like a threat. Philosophically, Nietzsche's call to become who you are demands you reject external validation. Stop chasing likes, titles, or approval, and start chasing what sets your soul on fire. The paradox is liberating. By accepting your flaws, you unlock your potential. Try this. Each day, do one thing that scares you. A conversation, a creation, a risk. Build a habit of courage. Look to J.K. Rowling, who wrote through rejection and poverty, trusting her voice over the world's doubts. You're not breaking free from sabotage. You are breaking free from a self that isn't yours. The power surges within you now. Every choice to act, to question, to create is a rebellion against the lie that you're not enough. Feel it, don't you? The thrill of reclaiming your mind, your life. The trap is crumbling, and a new way of thinking is rising. But there's one final truth to uncover, one that will make all of this crystal clear. You've begun to break free, taking small steps to reclaim your power. But now, the final truth dawns. A revelation so profound it redefines everything you thought you knew. The great lie of self-sabotage isn't that you were weak or broken. It was that you've been living as if your worth depends on the world's approval. The paradigm shift is this: you are enough, exactly as you are. And your sabotage was never about failure, but about protecting a self you were taught to hide. Imagine standing at that cliff's edge, not paralyzed by fear, but alive with possibility, because you realize the voice whispering, "You can't," was never yours. It was the echo of a world that profits from your doubt, a culture that chains you to comparison and conformity. Psychologically, this is the liberation of self-acceptance. Carl Rogers spoke of the actualizing tendency, an innate drive to become your truest self. Your sabotage was a misguided attempt to protect that self from a world that demands perfection. But now, you see it clearly. Every time you hesitated, you were guarding a spark of authenticity, a spark that's ready to ignite. Philosophically, this echoes Nietzsche's call to overcome yourself, not to become someone else, but to embrace the messy, beautiful truth of who you are. Your past struggles suddenly make sense. Every moment of procrastination, every silence was a cry to be seen, to be whole. The paradox is breathtaking. By fearing failure, you were seeking freedom. And now, you found it. Picture yourself now, not at the cliff, but soaring above it, unburdened by the lies you once believed. Your life isn't about proving your worth. It's about living it. This realization shifts everything: your choices, your relationships, your dreams. You no longer need to sabotage yourself because you no longer need to hide. The world will still push its expectations, but you are no longer its prisoner. Take this truth and run with it. Create, speak, love, fail, and do it all as yourself. The channel you're on, our journey together, is a call to keep questioning, to keep uncovering the truths that set you free. Subscribe, join us, and let's keep peeling back the lies. Because your life is waiting and it's yours to claim. Feel it now, don't you? The weight lifting, the clarity rising. A life no longer defined by sabotage, but by the courage to be you. Step into it and never look back.